Hey, good afternoon. We just finished practice up this morning before our guys start classes this afternoon, so we get another early morning meetings and workout in. I thought today we had good energy. It was better than it was on Saturday. I thought we had some mistakes on Saturday, trying to simulate a game where we were trying to be perfect, and we weren't perfect on Saturday. And like I told the guys, we don't have to be perfect until next Saturday, and it may be far from perfect, but that's what we're striving for, is to make sure that we're on the right page. And today was better, and we got 3 more practices this week to try to shore things up, and then head to Montana. So I'll take any questions.
You talked last week about maybe seeing some tired legs out there, seeing that you were 28, 29, or so many practices in. You still seeing that? How are you guys guarding against that? What's this week look like for you guys to try and be fresh for Saturday?
Well, we were full pads today, and then we'll take pads off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I talked to some of the guys, and they going Saturday, limited amount of reps, and then having all of Sunday off. And today we're out there an hour and a half. We won't be out there any more than an hour and 15 minutes the next 3 days. And talking to Coach Kramer, this is the same thing we've done for 9 years. And so the guys are going to have tired legs at the end of camp, and we'll get their legs back by midweek, and they'll be fresh and ready to go on Saturday for sure.
How difficult has it been to prep for Montana, not knowing really what kind of offense they're going to throw at you on Saturday?
Well, it's been difficult. We've been prepping for what we believe or think, but we also know that they're going to throw us a lot of curveballs, and we've got to be able to prepare. I think the one thing that helps us is going against our offense, the multitude of formations and sets that we run will prepare our defense. But we're looking at last year's film of Coach Sitt's previous school and looking at many of those formations and plays, and then we'll have to adjust on Saturday. That's the main thing, is who can adjust better on Saturday, because they're going to do a lot of different things. We're going to do some different things, and in the first game you really don't know. It doesn't matter if it's previous staff or not. So we just got to do a great job of adjusting.
Did you bring the same offensive staff,
I don't know that for sure. I think the coordinator, correct. The defensive coordinator is still guy from Montana, but I think he brought his DC as well. So I'm sure they'll integrate some of the things they were doing defensively.
Status for CJ on Saturday.
We'll find out on Saturday. He had pads on today, which was good. Went through a number of drills, and if there's any doubt, I'll hold him. But the young man wants to keep progressing this week and see how he can do, and we'll do that for him.
What's your confidence level of the secondary if CJ can't play in that game?
Well, they're a bunch of new guys. Jordan Champion's got to play exceptionally well. Trey Dempsey's played a lot of snaps for us, and we're going to be under a lot of fire. You got to find out on Saturday. We got some new linebackers, got some new D linemen, but hey, it's both sides of the ball. They've got new guys too, and it's what you don't know that first game, and we'll see what we can do. But we've got to keep things in front of us and make good open field tackles, and what we say on defense is keep the cup and try to eliminate big plays.
Build up and the hype for this game being on ESPN compare with some of the FBS games you guys have played over the years?
Well, we're not trying to change anything. We've got a routine that we've done for the last few years, simply because we've played on the last Saturday of August the last 2 years, and that's kind of the footprint that I'm going off of. The fact that we're going on the road to a great program, a program that I've got a ton of respect for, in a very hostile environment. I told the guys it's going to be probably louder than Iowa State and louder than Kansas State. It's just not going to be as many people, but they're going to be right on top of us, and they've got great fans. And so we're not changing our preparation from what we've done.
Is your focus primarily on the defense this week? Is the offense kind of in its routine with Carson, with the returners that you guys have there? Is your focus primarily on the defense and making sure you're ready there?
I'm still going to split time, both sides of the ball, and see what I can see from our offensive standpoint of things that I think we can maybe shore up, and just give Tim and Randy and the staff just kind of some input. I mean, it's their show. It's the same thing with Matt and the defensive staff. I'm not going to micromanage them. It's their show. I'm just trying to see things that I, from afar, can see and say, can we fix this? Do we have an answer or a solution? Either side of the ball. But I've got great confidence in our coaches. They've got really good plans, and they've spent a lot of quality time on this throughout the summer and all through fall camp.
What's the message going to be to the defense right before the game, as you guys, you're playing what should be a high-powered offense. What will the message be to what you call a young defense?
Do your job, period. Do your job. Don't do somebody else's job. You've got a job to do, and I don't care if you're the three technique or the backside safety. You can't do the corner's job or the defensive end's job. Just do your job and make the plays that you're supposed to make, and we'll be fine.
Have you coached in a game out there before, Chris?
I have not.
Chris, last time NDSU was there, it was quote unquote a signature win, and I think there have been several over the years. What would be your definition of a signature win for this program?
All wins are signature wins for me. I mean, that's one thing in this profession, I think, and especially at NDSU, I try to make sure our coaches and our players don't take any wins for granted. Wins are hard to get in college football, and I know we've had 58 of them in the last 4 years, but wins are really difficult to get in college ball. So every win we get is a signature win. And so for me, it's just follow the process this week to give ourselves the best chance mentally and physically to have success on Saturday.
So status of your kicking game going into Saturday, how confident are you with that?
We'll kick Ben. We'll use him on PAT field goals, and we'll kick him off as well. And he'll punt. He'll do everything. We're going to take Cam Peterson. We're going to take Tom Barneson. I worry about the wear and tear for him, and the likelihood of us having 10 kickoffs and 10 punts isn't very good. I wish we'd have 10 kickoffs and 1 punt, then I think the kid can handle it. But I'm assuming if it's not this week, throughout our non-conference, for sure we'll kick Tom, and if we can save Cam, we will. But that's a lot of stress on a young man's leg to do all three, and we've got to get him some relief somewhere.
Who's holding, Chris?
Cole Davis will hold, and he's doing a really nice job, and he's been holding since the first day of fall camp when Ben was kicking.
Are we going to see a steady dose of all three of those running backs? I know you have Chase and King on as the first guys.
Yeah, I think you'll see 4 guys. I think you'll see Lance, and I think you'll see Bruce Anderson as well. We're going to run 4 guys out there, and we've got some packages where there's a couple of those guys on the field, and all 4 have progressed. Obviously, the young guys maybe be a little bit limited on what they do game plan wise, but it like we talked about all the way back from spring to early fall camp, it's going to be by committee, and there's going to be 4 guys, and Darius Anderson's had an exceptional camp as well, and there's a spot for Darius as well. He's going to probably get some touches. I like what he's done as well.
So Bruce's red shirt's off as well. Why him? Why his red shirt?
Does some special things with the football in his hands at 6 foot and 205 pounds, and gets the game. He can run the jet sweep. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. It was interesting. He wasn't an I formation tailback in Florida. He took a lot of things from a wing back and got some sweeps and stuff. But he's a guy that I think is a difference maker. Whether or not he'll be a difference maker for us early in the season, we'll find out. But he's a guy that I think we've got to give an opportunity to see what he can do.
Special teams too.
You bet.
Do you want a guy to separate themselves from that pack, or are you okay with going 3 or 4 guys the whole season?
I think you'd like to have a guy separate himself, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. We probably go through the conference or non-conference season and kind of see where we're at.
Bruce is listed as one of your kick returners. Is he going to be out there for the opening kickoff?
We're going to put Perk out there to start punt and kick return. Perk will be the guy that goes back. Darius Shepard would probably be the next guy on punt, and then Bruce would be the next guy on kickoff.
Coach, what did Easton do during camp to warrant being the backup?
Well, for starters, I think all 3 guys we could win with. Obviously, we can win with number 11. We've proven that, and he has proven that. I've been very impressed with Cole and with Easton to the fact that if something happened, I think either guy could not get us out of a game but could win a football game for us. I just think Easton probably had a more consistent camp from start to finish. There wasn't one particular day or one particular thing. He's a little more athletic, I think, than Cole on some of our quarterback run stuff. But I don't want to take anything away from Cole because we can win with Cole as well. It's just as we finished up and talked on Sunday, Easton was a little bit ahead.
Is there a different feeling around the team now that it's actually here, it's actually game week?
Yeah, I think so. That and fall camp is over with, and shoot, it was an October day out there at practice. It was a crisp fall day and 30-mile-an-hour winds, and No, the guys had great energy today, and that's what I was looking for. They needed an off day, and we gave it to them on Sunday. It's hard to go from August 2nd to August 23rd and not have any days, and we gave them an off day yesterday. And so I thought there was really good energy today, and then we'll get truly into our routine starting tomorrow with afternoon meetings and afternoon practice.
Talk about the progress that Coach Enns has made. I'm sure it's not easy to be a DC for the former DC of the same program, but how he's really grown into it this second year and continues to command that defense and take ownership of it.
Yeah, well, I think if you'd ask Coach Ince, it's not easier, but he's so much more comfortable this year. All our new coaches are so much more comfortable because they've been through it. They've been through the process. They understand what the expectations are, and they're high here on defense, and we know that. Our kids know that, and that's the thing that's, even though we're young, our kids have seen, our players have seen what's expected on defense, what the standard is, and I think Matt's done a great job of A, keeping the guys grounded, but B, keeping them hungry, because we're going to have to make a big stop on Saturday for us to win the game. Nobody knows if that thing's going to be a 17-13 game or 45-42. I'll be as happy with either win. But even if it's a high-scoring game, it's going to be a stop by the defense. If it's a low-scoring game, it's going to be a stop somewhere. So I think he's done a great job. And the other thing that's really helped Matt is having the same staff back on defense. You don't have to coach the coaches. And that's something that I think people take for granted when you have a new staff. You're not coaching the coaches on what the technique is and stuff. You're coaching the coaches on, that's where you do your drills. This is where your meeting room is. This is where our pregame meal is, all those things. Everything's status quo. Our guys know where they're supposed to be. And I think Matt, one thing I really appreciate about Matt, he's not a micromanager. He wants input from all the coaches. He still comes to me and says, hey, what do you think on this? And it's going to be a collective effort by the entire defensive staff, and I'll throw my 2 cents in when I feel like I need to, but I don't feel like I need to. We've got a pretty well-oiled machine there.
Will you travel any other true freshmen?
We'll travel Robbie. We'll travel Bruce. Marquise Bridges will travel. And then Dimitri Williams has got a hamstring. We'll have to wait and see how that one plays out this week. And then Cam Peterson, obviously, the other kicker.
Are Bridges and Williams playing, or you're kind of wait and see?
We'll wait and see on those guys, yep.
Second year, how is this year different for you?
Well, I am more comfortable knowing where everybody else is supposed to be, which is good. It's not much different. I'm shocked that we're in game week. I mean, we just got into camp, didn't we? And now we're on game week. This goes so fast. I had a moment yesterday. We went over to the pregame meal, and all the students were moving in, and called my wife, and I said, "Oh my God, next year this is us moving a kid into college." The time just flies by, and so it has not been any different for me year one to year two, other than I know the coaches know what they're supposed to do and where to be, and I've been just like I was last year. I'll leave here and I'll go up and spend an hour with the offense and just watch the practice, and I'll spend an hour with the defense and just watch, and I'll interject a few things. Whether or not they take them, that's fine. I mean, we've got a pretty good unit up there.
Have you addressed expectations? You mentioned earlier 58 wins in the last 4 years. Have you talked about that with this team at all and said, wait a second here?
I think they know the expectations, but, I think what's neat about this culture here right now, and you can say it in every sport here too, the kids know what the expectations are, and you can't tell our guys if there's a minute and a half left and we're down 6 and we can't win the game. I mean, it's just what we believe here, and it goes across not just football. You can take the landscape of NDSU athletics. You're down, you got a chance to win, and you're never counted out. And so we don't talk about, only thing we talked when we came here on the first day is we got to have a great camp to put ourselves in position to beat Montana and contend for the Missouri Valley Conference title, because that's the ultimate goal. If we don't win this first game, will it derail us? Absolutely not. Obviously, we'd like to win it for all the reasons of signature wins to playoff scenarios to getting yourself on the right foot, all those things. But we've got a big goal here, and that's to try to win the Missouri Valley.
You talked about starting so early. Have you thought much about the fact that it's going to be the only game and it's going to be on ESPN and all that hype that goes around with it too?
No, I really haven't, because probably the same thing. We've always started at that last Saturday of August. I think it'll hit us later on this week when we see that other people are having a scrimmage this weekend or not in game prep. But no, we've followed the formula the last 2 years of Kansas State and Iowa State, and we're ready to go tee it up and see what happens. We're going to learn a lot on Saturday, I know that, because we're going to learn some young guys are probably further along than what we anticipated, and we're going to learn some young guys are a little ways away still. And the one thing we've got to realize is they are young guys, and they are going to get better. I've told our team this. We're going to be better this year as the season progresses, as opposed to having a lot of older guys, a lot of veteran guys that you just hope hold up through the whole season and don't break down. And last year we broke down a little bit, and I think that's where, defensively we weren't as good at the end of the season because Colton and Christian were on that 60th game and 3,000 snap for that's just the wear and tear. I think this year our guys will continue to progress and get better as the year goes.
Chris, from a fans and exposure for the university department, what are your thoughts on a guy like Musburger doing the game?
I think that's really cool. I remember growing up listening and watching CBS when he was on the NFL Today with Irv Cross and Jimmy the Greek and that stuff, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, I had a chance to visit with him last week just briefly. He's really excited about doing the game. I didn't realize he's a native of Montana. He's never done a game at the Grizz Stadium, and he's got a passion to do that, and he knows an awful lot about our program, and it's neat because the people that I've gotten to talk to in that profession that I don't think know a whole lot about NDSU, ultimately they know an awful lot about Bison football.
You got two quarterbacks who look good on a basketball team. What are the advantages of having tall quarterbacks?
Well, obviously to see over the defense is first and foremost. Just having that great vision, especially in a game of this magnitude with the noise. It's Carson's going to be able to have great picture of what the back seven are doing and be able to change plays and stuff. That's something that is another thing for you guys to watch. Is Carson going to be able to put us in the call that he wants us in? Are we going to have enough time on the play clock to do that? Are we going to be able to do that with the noise and still getting it across the board to everybody? It's something that we've worked really hard at this fall, and I'm hoping it pays dividends because we've got to be able to get in the correct play because there's some plays we think are going to have a chance based on the looks we've seen.
Do you imagine this will be louder than K-State?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All the people that I've talked to that have been there, we've got a number of coaches that have been there. No, it'll be louder than Iowa State and Kansas State. Take nothing away from those environments, don't get me wrong. But just 27,000 sitting in that mountain, I look forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge. We're going to learn an awful lot about our guys, especially our young guys, that we can have the noise as loud as we want it at practice and think it's getting into their head and stuff. But until they get out there with all those fans on them and truly have the Bison gear on, I don't know how some of them are going to react. We're going to talk about it on Monday and say, boy, that kid reacted really well, or boy, that kid really didn't react well. Well, that's what these opening games are all about. I think Carson reacted pretty well last year against Iowa State, even when we were down 14-0. But who's going to be that next guy? Who's going to be the guy that we say, wow, that guy really answered the bell?